Today, we are joined by Dr. Cristina Florescu-Moraid, a physician with over 20 years experience in the clinical research industry as well as laboratory medicine. She has made a remarkable impact in the life sciences industry. She's not only built and led clinical research operations across multiple countries, but also founded multiple businesses providing crucial patient-centered services in decentralized clinical trials. Today, we talk about her journey from a physician in Romania's public healthcare system to being an entrepreneur in clinical trials, patient recruitment, and home care services. She talks about her passions, her journey, and given that this is International Women's Day and we're celebrating women this month, as well as Romanian Mother's Day on the 8th of March, we go through the challenges and triumphs of being a mother in this industry and balancing work life and career. Hi, Cristina. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure having you on. Can you please introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background and your early career and how you got to be where you are today?
Thank you very much, Theodora, for inviting me. So my name is Cristina Florescu-Moraid, and I'm physician by background. I graduated University of Medicine and Pharmacy in Bucharest, licensed in the 1998, quite a lot of time since then, and become specialized in laboratory medicine and clinical research back in 2005. At the beginning, I used to work as a physician in one of the top hospitals in Bucharest, in public system, emergency hospitals. When I was actually invited to open and build from zero business in clinical research field. Actually, it was for a Swedish-owned company called Medicover, and for whom I had to build this clinical research wing in Romania first, and after that in several countries surrounding Romania. The clinical research field has attracted me from the very beginning, and actually at 2019 I decided to use my experience, my knowledge, all the know-how I have and the skills, and I started to build my own business in clinical research. And also I dedicate part of my time for education of specialists working in clinical research field. So because I have been always an advocate and provider of knowledge for clinical research specialists, even we talk about students or young graduates from faculties of medicine, of pharmacy, or more advanced specialists like monitors, pharmacists, or project managers in clinical trials.
And what was it that, you're so passionate about the industry and obviously you've got a wealth of knowledge. What was it that, inspired you to kind of enter on the commercial side and obviously ultimately launch your businesses rather?
So right now, by running this business of myself, together with my team, of course, actually we provide support services for pharmaceutical company and CROs at the level of being in touch and in close contact with the patients. Actually, I am referring at home care services and patient recruitment services and also different type of site support services. But above all, clinical research is the field of excellence in medicine, and we cannot think about treating patients with the most developed and the most innovative medication if we would not go back and start treating them based on the entering in clinical trials before, because you have to test every new drug. You have to be sure that this new innovative medication suits to the patient and fulfill the most, let's say, expectation of the scientist. But to do this in the practice. So that's why, as a doctor, the driven factor for me is my passions, are my passions. So it is important to put the patients in the middle of our field, our activity, and to focus on the needs of the patients. So actually, being in, let's say, the first line of drug development by running clinical trials attract me and make me eager to launch my own business dedicated to our patients.
What would you say were some defining moments that shaped your career or your business?
This is interesting question, and I thank you for that, because the first one I may say was the decision to go for the Faculty of Medicine. You can find in my family different types of specialists, from professors, accountants, also even my grandparents between the world wars, they had their own department store business, and they had also worked on their own land with the hiremen for the field work, but none of them was involved in medicine. So I was the first one going in this direction, and I'm very happy that I took this decision. So that was certainly one of the most defining moments. And another one, a very important one, was my meeting with my first boss. Actually, it was, and I'm referring at Dr. Janusz Kabata, who was a Polish specialist in clinical research, very passionate about this field, and he managed to attract me in this domain, because it was the moment when I decided to go from the laboratory, from microscope, when I was doing hematology, bacteriology, to go to to clinical research and start learning about that and start building in this field.
Absolutely. Obviously, you're pretty specialized within the decentralized clinical trials field, something that a lot of people have been speaking more about recently, I guess. It was already becoming quite popular before the pandemic. It became more popular throughout the pandemic. And is definitely a field that is evolving rapidly and is gaining a lot more traction. What innovations or trends in this field excite you most about the future?
Since pandemic, we see more and more the need of running the clinical trials a little bit outside the box. Actually, to bring the study from the, to the patient's home. It's about mentality, first of all, because decentralized clinical trials used to be before pandemic, so there is no new. But of course, after pandemic, people understood that they have to use more and more, and they have to acknowledge the fact that some of the study procedures can be developed, can be done at the patient's home in the patient comfort, with the same, using the same rigor, the same correctness, with very qualified and highly qualified personnel. But it is not needed anymore to call the patients on the site for every procedure. That's why I am saying that it's a matter of flexibility and open-minded decisions and people involving in the decision, because it's the time when you have to adapt to what is happening right now in the medicine, and actually to understand that really we have to put the patient in the middle of our activity, and give the patient the feeling that he matters, that he is in the middle of our study, and also this will enhance the adherence of the patient to the study protocol and the retention of the patient. So home visits is one of the DCT element I like very much. That's why we are involved in this, and I think it's one of the best way of doing what I have already said, putting the patient in the middle and asking him to adhere to the study protocol by offering this. Beside that, the telemedicine I found very attractive. Why? Because nowadays you are able, as physician and all the investigators are able to have, through telemedicine, the close contact with their patients from all over the world, to have this face-to-face contact, even if it's remotely. But for the patient mind, it's important because he meets the doctor, and he gain much more trust in what the study procedures are.
Now, obviously, we're kind of discussing things for the month of March, where we celebrate International Women's Day. And also in Romania, for our listeners who may not know, we also celebrate Mother's Day on the 8th of March, as well as International Women's Day. As a woman yourself in the life sciences industry, what would you say would be some of the unique challenges you have faced throughout your career, and how did you navigate them?
It's true that this in this industry, and I don't think it's the only one, but in this industry you can find more men than women as decision factors. But you may say that it's dominated by male leaders. But in the same time, and despite of that, I think women have a lot to say, and more you can find women in leaders position as CEOs, as board members. So they run beautifully the businesses. So I don't know if it's really time to talk about my challenges. Of course, there have been, and I during the time I have had several situations when maybe I was not on the same wavelength with my superior or colleagues, male colleagues. But I think the most important thing is to be really conscious about that. The barriers are much more in our heads than in real life. So, and maybe at an unconscious level. What you have to do is to follow your goal, to pursue your goal in what you have to do, and to be courageous, and to try to fulfill your responsibilities in your project. So this does not have any relation with being a man or being a woman.
That's really interesting. And what I picked up on when you said earlier, actually struck a bit of a chord. And I guess sometimes we probably self-impose barriers, and we have to self-reflect and realize that our limiting factors is oftentimes our own perception of what our limits are, not necessarily externally imposed. So as a mother, as a wife, I think, it's probably on every woman's mind at one point in her life as a mother, especially how to balance work life with home life. How would you say, do you balance home life and work life?
Well, so it's really difficult sometimes. Being a mom and also being a CEO of your company, it's a package who bring a lot of challenges and some difficult times. But the idea is to try to find a balance. I don't know if I have managed to keep this balance all the time, but what I can say is that you have to be really open with your family, and to tell your family what are the challenges you face in your career, and to let them know that you are not a superwoman, you are not a superhero all the time. You have your weaknesses, and what I may say is, and this is actually what I do. I'm not afraid to show my weakness in front of my dearest persons, in front of my husband and my daughters. They have to acknowledge that I put a lot of effort and a lot of time in running my activity on a career level, as much as I do, and I put the same energy or even more sometimes for running the family and fulfilling all my responsibilities as wife and mom. So the balance sometimes, is not like that. Sometimes it's depending on the situation, is much more on family or much more on business. But you have to be open, and you have to be also aware about the sacrifice you have to do, because there are sacrifices in terms of time, in terms of maybe situations, or even spending your spare time sometimes is much more limited than in another situation when you are just an employee of a multinational company.
So again, I guess communication right? Communication and partnership in both work and home life. I think what I picked up from what you said is probably setting those realistic expectations, right?
Yeah.
On ourselves and on our families, and perhaps showing ourselves some kindness and empathy, the same kindness of empathy that we provide those around us. Um, and I think that's something that we all struggle with at times.
Right.
How do you personally define success, both in career and life?
So this is nice questions and very, very, really very important one. Because for me, success is the same. Even when we speak about life, personal life or career. For me, success means, to be able to adapt to what is going on surrounding you. And that's why I say it's the same in personal life as it is in career. Because if you manage to be, first of all, to be aware about what is going on, and secondly, to do the best of you to adapt and to be always up to date with the latest novelties, with the so everything which is related to the new, because the new is coming to you. The new, you do not have to be caught unprepared or unaware about this. So that's why for me this is important. And I remember my parents. They always they told me that be modest, but be anchored in your life, and you will be successful. And these words are in my in my mind always, and I actually tell them all the time to my daughters and to my collaborators, because you don't have to see or to look at the success like something which is really very difficult to achieve. You just have to do your job. You just have to do your responsibilities to be, at the end of the day, happy with what your energy or what you put in that fulfilling the task, but also to stay in time with what it is surrounding you.
Anchor yourself. I like that. I might borrow that.
Yeah, please. It's like a life philosophy for me.
Um, so in celebration of International Women's Day and Romanian's Mother Day, what message would you like to share with other mothers aspiring to be entrepreneurs?
This celebration is very dear for us, and uh, maybe more than ever these days we are at larger scale spoiled. We like this time, and it's coming with a lot of flowers, a lot of greetings, and um, and what I really like to share with all the ladies from the world, especially with the ones who dream to have their own business and run their own business, is to keep the dream and to pursue the goal. And also, which I think is very important nowadays, is to be authentic, because authenticity, I think it's the rare in the today's society, is it maybe is the what we lack the most, and we have to be ourselves and to show ourselves as we are, because this is the definition of us. So keep close that type of people you trust, and also people you believe in and they believe in you. So that's why I think this is a step to success. And I wish from the bottom of my heart to all women and all mothers a very, very, very happy Women's Day, and to fulfill their dreams in this way.
To stay authentic to yourself.
Yes.
So obviously we've spoken about the fact that you are an entrepreneur, you are a mother. What else would you like to share about your interests?
What I would like to share is that you have to find sometime, it's something really good for your soul, for your heart. So beside being on the daily basis involved in all activities, focus on what you have to deliver, to your collaborators, to your team, and so on and so forth. Try to find time to do something also for other parts of society, people who are in need. So I would really like to say a few words about what I am trying to do on small scale, on our scale, together with my family, but for people who are children, parents, mothers with their families, who are trying, and to do their best for having another day and another day in, in surviving. So for me, and coming back to education, because this is, as I said, my passion, and as a doctor, providing education for families found in need, or for children who do not have access or the same access as my daughters, for instance, or some other people, or some other children in similar conditions, access to education. It's to provide some workshops where actually we deliver on different topics like School of Mother, or prevention and prophylaxis of some infectious diseases, or information about how to preserve hygiene for children or for adolescents. Or every time when I am invited by different teachers from primary schools or college to give these lectures for their pupils, I always go there and try to be very close to them and to explain about the changes, for instance, for adolescents and adolescents, the changes from their life, to give their responses to their questions, because they have many questions and they have to be informed. It would be really pity today, when there is open access to so many information. Actually, it's for the children and for the adolescents we have in our society. Sometimes it's really even more information that they can digest. It is something which all of us face.
And complete overloads of information.
So you have to help, and we as professionals, we have to be able to take from our free time or spare time and to give them this information. Because if you want to live, this is my really belief, if you want to live in a country with a very good standard of life, you have to be surrounded by educated people. And you have to start these education programs, even if you do a smaller scale or larger scale, as, governmental programs or ONG programs. You have to be aware that piece by piece, little by little, sometime maybe today you will take a half an hour. After 1 month or two, you will take even more, but to dedicate to others and to dedicate to the people. And I feel very satisfied with myself when I am able to give this type of lectures and workshops to the rural people living in the rural parts of the country. And by doing that, you are much more aware about the differences in the society, and the fact that all of us, we have to be involved in helping one of each other.
Little by little, we can achieve greatness.
Absolutely.
I love that. And finally, where can our audience connect with you and learn more about what you do?
I think on usual channels, media channels, on our website, or on different types of situation when I give lectures as a speaker on different conferences, or even with the occasion of podcast. And I thank you for that one more time. I really would like to say that at the end that Camina Medical Experts is the company I run for home care services and this type of support services for CRO and pharmaceutical companies. But on the other hand, I co-founded Avantio Institute of Clinical Research. This is a training platform where we try to educate and teach specialists, young specialists, or even much more specialized professionals in clinical research field, and not only. So on these platforms, you may find me and my colleagues, and we are happy to help anyone who needs.
Thank you so much. And I would just like to mention to our listeners, so Cristina and I actually met at one of the symposiums that she organizes through Avantio. And it was inspiring for me to find so many great people from all different walks of the industry, from governmental institutions, from public healthcare institutions, and from the industry, also incredibly passionate trying to solve the issues within the current clinical research climate. And that's actually how we met and how we got in touch. And I encourage everybody to go on their website and to sign up for some of the talks and some of the symposiums that are coming up. And I think there's one that obviously runs on a yearly basis in the fourth quarter of the year. So thank you so much, Cristina. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you again.
I thank you very much, and I use this opportunity to invite the people to come to this event, because it's an international conference where actually my goal is to bring all the actors from the clinical research field at the same table. Even we talk about sponsors, patients, patient associations members, or a CRO professionals, and because we have the same goal, to work in the benefit of our patients. So thank you for that one more time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.